everybody wants to go at 4:30 in the morning and go out and do their deal. I've been getting on there, launching at about 8 o'clock, get out there about 10 into the right area. The fish haven't been showing their face till like 11 or 12, right? But at 11 or 12, it will last 2 to 3 hours, right? Sometimes it lasts 2 to 3 hours, sometimes it lasts 40 minutes. Who's to say, right? But the key thing to look for when you're out in an area where you think that stuff's gonna start going down is you wanna watch for birds, okay? The birds will be a telltale sign. Lately, what I've seen, and this is just something, it's not the past couple trips, but trips before, there's these black birds and they sit on the water. Birds don't sit on the water for any reason, you know? They're not sleeping there, they're sitting there because something happened there. A lot of these pickers, these black, you got shearwaters, you got black pickers. When they sit on the water a lot of times, if you meter around in the areas, you will see that there's volume of fish in the areas. You see the fish and they're sitting on the water. What I do a lot of times, I box that in and I'll sit there. As a matter of fact, sometimes I just turn the boat off and just wait it out. Two things these things look at. They look at time of day, right? Like we talked. If you got bait in an area, it's gonna happen one time or another. But the big thing is tidal. If you get a tidal swing and you're looking at that, it's a couple hours before the tide, a couple hours after it, that stuff will start coming to life. What you'll see, the weirdest thing that I've seen this year is the fish, first you'll see nothing, right? You're just traveling along in your boat, then all of a sudden you'll see the bird, you'll see those blackbirds come up, and out of nowhere the terns will come. There'll be no fish showing their face yet. A lot of times those are the fish you want to get to right off. If the birds show you that the fish is there, and the way they show you is you see those slow moving turns. As they're moving into an area, you'll see some of them that their wings will go really super fast and stop, pull up to that bird and cast right on that bird, right underneath them. And what you want to do is you want to get the bait in the water, if it's going to be a live bait, if they're eating live bait, if it's going to be a mega bait, which is, you guys know what mega baits are, the little jigs that they got with one treble on it. Whatever you're going to throw, the poppers and the surface iron, a lot of times, poppers will work, but that a lot of time right now, guys are throwing that stuff into boiling fish, all right? What you want to do is you want to know what bait to throw when. The fish are foaming and it's a full-on jacuzzi out there. You can throw, I'm going to show you the stuff you can throw, but it's like reading the birds is super important. There's a lot of guys that chase birds, but the birds aren't on fish. There's a lot of times when you see the fish and you won't see the birds. So there's different groups of fish that bite, and it's like, it sounds real confusing, it's not. You'll go into a foamer, a big foamer of fish, and you'll throw and you'll throw and you'll throw and you can't get a bite. Because you throw a popper, and if you throw a surface iron, okay, that doesn't mean they're not gonna bite this. This is what's been going on lately. That's what I caught all the fish on the other day. It was crazy how good that thing worked, okay? And what happens with it, you just have to make sure that a lot of times when you throw in the middle of those foamers, you'll snag those fish. That is a nightmare, okay? You snag them, you can't get to pull on their heads, or you snag them in the back, you will fight the 70 to 80 pounders, 100 pounder, you'll fight them all day. It's just pretty much a nightmare. So when you look at the fish that you're casting into, a lot of times instead of casting right into the foam, I'll cast on the edges of the foam a lot. And that brings fish, because fish are pushing bait to the outside. They have a visual on the outside. In a foam, they can't see anything, right? If they have a visual on the outside, they can see the bait moving, they can see your bait moving, okay? So, reading birds, looking and doing your homework prior to going. Like, I have a code group of guys. We call each other. I deal with like Dwayne Diego and a couple of these other guys. They tell me what's going on in San Diego. They'll also tell me what's going on just daily, you know? And the daily stuff right now, the biggest thing is if you can get 3 or 4 guys of your friends that are fishing, even if they're fishing on head boats, carry around that GPS, those little $100 GPSs, they can get coordinates for you guys for your next fishing trip. And it's super important a lot of times to do your homework prior to going. How do you know where to go if you don't plan out, figure it out, right? I mean, these are things to think about. Talking about the birds, how important the birds are, that's a big deal. Always understand too, with trying to get on fish,